honestly, post that intervention, with tear-streaked face, I went back on air and I was like, okay, and I smiled through it all, and that was half the job done. What on earth is she doing? She doesn't belong here. She's never played cricket. Now, so all the press that was coming negative about how dumb she is and how not one word that she speaks is sensible or, crickety or purist. And at the end of that event, when we were flying back, I met the owner of the company, and he came up to me and said,
Welcome to Personality Talks Podcast, where we decode success, not just what the world sees, but what builds it from within. Today's guest is someone you have seen as an actress, a fitness icon, a TV trailblazer, and an entrepreneur. From first capturing hearts in India's iconic 90s TV serial to break norms by hosting men's cricket World Cups on international television and to build her own fashion brand, she's faced the spotlight and the shadows. And every time life said, "Are you done?" she answered, "Not yet." Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mandira Bedi. Welcome, Mandira. It's a pleasure to have you with us on Personality Talks.
Thank you, Sanjeev.
The reason behind Personality Talks podcast is to inspire the audience, the youth, the young, to be able to perform at a better level than what they were from yesterday.
Yes.
And it is also about sharing success stories of the number one personality of India like you.
That's so kind of you to say that. Thank you very much. And it's incredible, all the work you're doing, training young people and helping them develop their personalities and be the best version of themselves. It is great and very noble work that you're doing. So congratulations on that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. So let's start. We have an array of questions for you and would request you to decode your success story through our questions.
All right.
So we start from your childhood.
Yes.
Childhood is where you shape up your inherent abilities. Please talk about your family and your childhood journey and what all activities did you participate in as a youngster?
Well, I had, a very typical childhood. My father worked for a corporate called ICI. My mom, she used to, design some clothes just as a hobby and, sell them to interested people. And so that's a kind of, background I had. My father went to a 9-to-5 job, went to the office. So what I'm doing right now, which is so the opposite of 9-to-5, it's got nothing to do with my childhood, because if you went to an office, if you had an office job, it was a 9-to-5, Monday to Friday. My mom never worked. So I grew up with that kind of, she worked, but not a full-time, 9-to-5 kind of job. But I had a very nice, sort of well-adjusted childhood, and my parents were a little bit strict. So, of course, like all young people, especially when you're a teenager, you're always complaining about how life is unfair and how other people and your friends are allowed to have or do or participate in all the things that you can't. And I used to complain, and I used to crib, and I used to, demand justice and fairness in all of this. But I think I look back at my upbringing with a lot of gratitude, because I think it gave me a very good grounding. I learned the value of money. I learned the value of, I value and respect people's time. I try to give my children a little bit of discipline like I got. And, so, you parent generally how you've been parented, but you also have to move with the times. So my parents gave me a slightly strict upbringing. I've loosened the grip a little bit as far as my kids are concerned. But, I look back at my childhood very fondly. I went to this lovely school in South Bombay. I was not particularly the best of students up to, say, the 8th grade. After the 8th grade, I just became very conscientious. Sometimes things just flip
Absolutely.
In your life. And from being a bad student, suddenly you start taking things very seriously, and then you can go to the other end of the spectrum, which is what happened with me. 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, I was a really conscientious student. And I look back, and yes, I was not allowed a few things. Yes, I had a deadline. And my parents always used to say, well, while you're living under our roof, this is the way things are. These are our rules. And I was a bit of a rule breaker as a result of that. So, I mean, it has shaped me. I look back at it very fondly. The good things in terms of the upbringing, in terms of the values, in terms of respect, in terms of manners, I'm so grateful for, and I try and parent my children accordingly. But there were things which I used to find unfair, and one has to move with the times. And so I try not to, be an unfair parent to my kids. So, I mean, all in all, a nice childhood. I did well eventually in my studies, went on to do something that is not connected with what I studied. I did my BA in economics, and my brother also did his BA in economics, then went to business school, went to IIM Ahmedabad, no less, and then went on to work with an investment bank. And I just thought those are the footsteps I have to follow. But then, you have abilities and aptitudes which don't necessarily have to be the same as your siblings. So I realized somewhere along the way I wanted to be in media, I wanted to be a writer, I wanted to be in advertising. So I kind of went down that route. I did my post-graduation in social communication media. It's a course in Sophia College, and I studied media, and I wanted to be behind the camera, not in front of the camera. And then life had its own plans. Again, I have nothing. I don't have a 9-to-5 job. I could be working on a Monday, a Thursday, and a Saturday. And, life was different then, and life is different now. And this journey is full of learning. So as you proceed with your life, new things come your way, and you unlearn some stuff and you learn some new stuff, and go with the flow. I've learned a lot, from just going with the flow. There's so many things that are uncharted territory for me, which I've just gone with because it's presented itself. It's come in front of me. It's been something that I found myself face to face with. And either you take that plunge, either you jump into the ocean and swim, or you sink. So there have been many opportunities that have come my way that have been vastly different from anything I've trained for, anything I've studied, anything I've learned before. And I think I thrive with new opportunities, and I love learning new things. And I love breaking rules because I kind of was, a little bit of a rebel as a child. And that's how it's been.
Wonderful. So any particular activities as co-curricular activities which shaped you up?
Well, I was always very, I got into sport as a presenter, and I used to play cricket, building friends downstairs. I was always very sporty. So I was one of those jack of all trades, master of none. But in school, I did athletics, I did swimming, I did basketball, I did gymnastics. I did any sporting activity that was there to do, that the house, the school, you're divided into houses. Your house demands of you, I would do. I used to swim for school as well. So that's what I guess went to the next level. But, I did everything. I used to, when the house demanded me to do elocution and dramatics and debates, I'd do that too. I was a, go team kind of person, a team player. And, I don't think I took any extra classes to do anything in particular. Nowadays, parents are helicopter parents, and they see even the slightest aptitude in a child, and they'll put them in extra classes and try and, give them a grounding and city level or country level good. But it wasn't quite the case for me. And I tell my mom, I said, you send Bhaiya to cricket classes. You could have sent me to cricket classes. I used to play cricket in the building with the boys as well. But it was never thought of back then. So I did everything. I was very active as a child. I'd always be one of those kind of kids who'd be climbing trees and scraping knees. And as a young girl, I was not one of those. You can see certain young girls, and you see, oh, this one was to grow up and be an actress or be a model. I was not that. I was one of those sporty little tomboy
yes.
kids who'd roller skate in the building, and who'd play cricket, and who'd, be running around and playing hide and seek all the time, and just very active. So
wonderful. So that means you were a rebel. That's point number one. And number two, you were also an all-rounder. You participated.
I'd like to say, I wish I'd maybe specialized in something. I could have been better at it. But I did everything. Yeah. So I was a jack of, you can say, it's kind of you to say all-rounder. I'll call myself a jack of all trades and master of none.
And you know what? Today, this statement actually does not matter at all. Today, what we need in the corporate culture with the executives is that they need to be 20% specialists, but 80% generalists.
Yeah.
Which means to say they need to be what you were way back in school.
Everything. To be able to do everything and not have a problem, and not be like, this is outside of I won't try it. I guess that's what makes me open to trying new things, because I've done a lot of different things, and another one's come along. Okay, I'll give it a shot. Maybe it'll go well. Maybe it won't, but no harm in giving it a shot.
So the versatility and the dynamism was there when you were as a child.
Enthusiasm.
Oh, wonderful.
It's kind of you to say dynamism. Maybe dynamism comes a little later in life, but enthusiasm, and the enthusiasm still lives within me to try something new, to try something I've never tried before, something that's uncharted territory, as I said. So yes, enthusiasm is always there, and then I guess with confidence, you can be more dynamic at it. You can be better at it. You can be, you can set a trend. But to begin with, you have to have the enthusiasm to even embark on that journey.
Absolutely. And also, what my experience is that it's during adolescence, that is exactly what you mentioned, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th onwards, is when you start to find your individuality and shape up your identity through the eyes of the peers, and not through the parents' eyes.
Yes.
So
of course, I see this in my son. He's 14 years old now. And when he was 12, 13 is when adolescence hit. And when he was 12, he was just a very sweet, loving, and now I see rebellion in him. Now I see sometimes an eye roll that comes. Now I see, and I understand it. I don't look at it as this is a child just being defiant for the sake of being defiant. This is the hormones. This is what he's going through. This is where he's shaping his identity and standing up for himself, and good for him. He should. No one should be a pushover.
All right. Wonderful. That's a good thought perspective. But what we can see is that your son also has the Mandira, the rebel of the Mandira in him.
In a different way, let me tell you.
In a different manner. All right. Office politics can ruin your career and block the opportunities you deserve if you don't know how to handle it. Most people think of office politics as just gossip and rumors, but it's not. It's about understanding the rules of the game that decide who gets noticed, who gets promoted, and who gets left behind. You can't avoid office politics, my friends. Like it or not, you're already in the game. Even if you work hard, if you're not on top management's radar, you are invisible. If you don't know how to build relationships, you lose out. But here's the good news. A strong, commanding personality is your best defense against office politics. It helps you build genuine relationships, get noticed for the right reasons, and stand out as the leader top management seeks. Hi, I'm Sanjeev Datta, personality and leadership coach and the founder of Sanjeev Datta Personality School. In the last 23 years, I've trained 9 international title winners and thousands of working professionals from companies like Google, Tesla, Oracle, Coca-Cola, financial institutions, and many more across all sectors and industries. Now, I invite you to join my top 1% leader workshop, where I will teach you how to level up your personality to get noticed by your seniors and secure a promotion and salary hike. Join this 2-hour workshop and earn the top 1% leader certificate by Sanjeev Datta Personality School. Register now and I will see you in the workshop. how is college life for you? What all happened? Like you're the master of elocution.
Oh,
Okay.
well,
So with that said, did you do any kind of anchoring, hosting?
nothing. I'd never go. The extracurriculars I did mostly in school. And your school and college years are what you make of it. So my college years were, I did my BA in St. Xavier's in economics. And I was not somehow, I kind of went the opposite end of the spectrum from being this person who was not interested in studies, who I would only show up to college, not to hang out in the canteen with friends, not to hang out and, just be and bunk lectures. I would come in the morning, attend my lectures and go home. And I did that through my entire 3 years. I got a decent, a 70 something, 75%, which was pretty okay. And that's what my college years were about. They were just about, go to college, attend college, do the work and come back home and I don't know, just be. As a teenager, you like to just be a lot. But during my summer holidays in my first, second and all 3 years of college, I did decide to do an internship. So we used our contacts. The first time I worked with a bank, it was ANZ Greenlays. It was called ANZ Greenlays then. And I worked for 1.5 months and I don't know what value I brought, but they were taking interns and I was this intern who'd show up every day and just do the odd jobs, I guess. Second year, I worked with Lintas. That's when I realized that, rather than doing an MBA, because I'd worked with a bank, rather than doing an MBA in number crunching, and which was not my forte, I wanted to be in the media. I wanted to be in, the creation of ideas and the making of ad films and stuff like that. So second year of college, I did Lintas. And it was called Lintas then. Now it's called Low. And that's when I realized I think that's the route I want to take. And so the end of the third year of college, I applied to this Sophia Polytech for social communication media. I got in. And that's when I realized that, media is where I want to be it as a writer, as a journalist, be it as a filmmaker, be it as someone in PR or making, a content for television behind the camera. So that's what college was. And towards the end, I did my internship with this wonderful, amazing ad filmmaker called Prahlad Kakkar, who's the pioneer in ad filmmaking. And he was like up there and he had so many people who wanted to, work for him. So at any given shoot, there'd be like 10 assistants. And as someone who's come from a college as an intern, I was the lowest level of assistant. I was literally the gopher. Go for this, go for that, climb up there. So that was my internship at the end of my postgrad. And that's how Shanti happened, my first show, because someone who was making Shanti saw me at Prahlad's, sort of setup, and he asked me to come for a screen test. And I'm like, I don't know what he was thinking. I had no intention, no desire, no inclination to be an actor, but I just went for the screen test. And then there was another, and then there was another, and that's how Shanti happened.
So which means from being an economics student to having this creativity bug bite you.
Yes.
Is what that
I think I did.
happened?
I took economics because my brother took economics. Sometimes you just want to follow in the footsteps of your sibling. My father was
banker.
Was with a single corporate job his entire working life, which is very rare these days. My brother was working with Hong Kong Bank. So it was just understood that I will also do the same. And that's when I realized I don't have that aptitude. I don't have that inclination. That's not my space. So I realized somewhere along the way, there are some people, like my son knows already at this age that he's going to be a musician or connected to music. I didn't know where I was headed even while I was in college. It was only, I think, in the second year of college when I did that internship with Lintas, I was like, okay, this is the atmosphere that I feel I can thrive in. And I even got a job, by the way, as a as a copywriter before the Shanti thing happened. When I was finishing my SCM course in Sapphire, I also applied to Ogilvy and Mather for a job. I did a copy test and I got the job. So I got this job and I got Shanti at the same time. And I was like, okay, if I don't give this a shot, I should at least give Shanti a shot. So I asked them to defer my working with O&M. And then I started doing Shanti, and I told the person who gave me the job, I would come back. I mean, he's a very big, he's still in advertising, Piyush Pandey. And I wrote him a letter saying, I've got offered this daily soap on, first ever daily soap on Indian television. And I have to give it a shot. So I will come back to writing because that's what I want to do. And I meet him now. It's 30 years since that time. I still meet him and he says, I'm still waiting for you to come back to advertising because I do believe you have it in you.
Wonderful. So if we have to put this, it was luck by chances that you got.
It is. Yes, it is about being at the right place at the right time. I've had so many experiences like that. Because the maker of Shanti, the writer of Shanti, was getting an ad film made by Prahlad. He saw me there and he asked me to come for a screen test. Had he not seen me, it would not have happened. So it is a case of being at the right place at the right time, destiny, as they say. Even with cricket, I was at the right place at the right time. Somebody saw me there and asked me to come for a meeting and a screen test and blah, blah, blah. And that's how the cricket happened. So I've had a few situations and a few turning points in my life that have happened because two of the biggest have happened because I was at the right place at the right time.
I think that's quite humbly put, because what I see here is that you shifted the entire paradigm from wanting to be in economics, pursuing that field, and then all of a sudden catapulted and shifted your interest towards creativity and
my interest
media.
Yes, I realized my interest was in creativity, but I never thought I'd ever be I honestly never, I say this with absolute humility, there was I never thought I had any ability or possibility of being in front of the camera. I didn't see myself that way. I knew that I'm somebody who uses, her brains, who's, wants to write, wants to create, and suddenly I'm thrust in front of the camera instead of behind.
But you also have to understand one thing, Mandira, and that is that you didn't see that in you, but others saw that in you. That means you always possessed that part of it.
Sure.
Because there were 30 other assistants working with Mr. Prahlad.
Yes.
So you were the chosen one.
That is true.
So I think
true. But think about it this way. What if that his name is Adi Pocha? What if Adi Pocha was not getting an ad film made by Prahlad Kakkar at that time?
What if you wouldn't have decided to shift from the economics part of it, MBA part of it, into the creative industry?
So that's what I think, that, a lot has to do with what's written for you. I think there's some things that you can create. You can be given opportunities. It's what you make of the opportunities that are very important. But, not everybody gets the opportunities. Sometimes you can make the opportunity. Sometimes the opportunity presents itself. But either way, what you make of that opportunity is what's in your hands. It's in your control.
And also importantly, that whenever you get that opportunity, you need to be capable enough to be able to handle it. And like you said,
sink or swim.
Yes.
Sink or swim.
So you need to be ready to be able to.
I've been pushed into the deep end very often. Very, very often, Sanjeev. I have to tell you, be it the cricket or be it Shanti, where I've never faced a camera before. And this is the first ever daily soap on Indian television. And they did a little bit of workshop with me to get me a little bit ready for it. But it was, what? This is your opportunity. Could have bombed very badly. In fact, they'd already shot what a pilot is?
Yeah.
They'd shot the pilot. They'd shot the pilot with somebody else. And the director Adi Pocha was not happy with who they'd shot the pilot with. So he was on the lookout, and then he saw me at this thing, and he asked me to come for the screen tests, and I did a bunch of three screen tests. So I'm just saying, it's opportunities come your way, sink or swim. The choice is yours. and you say, you know what, I'm going to make the most of this opportunity. I am going to jump into the deep end and I'm going to flap and I'm going to swim and I'm going to just stay afloat, and not just stay afloat, but get to the other side. Or you can say, you know what, this is just not for me. I can't do it. And could have just folded and sunk without a trace.
Also, I'd like to add to this that I feel that you had the presence. That's a very important part. And the second part you've already spoken about is that you had the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
So that energy output, that vibrance which you had is how you grab these opportunities and not those 30 other people. So
absolutely. No, there are people who don't have that belief in self, who'll say, oh, you know what? I don't know. I don't think I can do this. I can't do this. If there's something that looks even remotely like something I'd like to try, I don't know about excel at, but try, I'll say, yes, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And then I'll figure the rest out as we go along. I've done that a few times. I've done it with the cricket too. I mean, I try to do my best to prepare myself for it, but eventually I had to learn a lot on the job. I was also invited to be a part of this wonderful show called Ice Road Truckers, where I drove a truck in the Himalayas over the highest motorable passes in the world. And when the opportunity came to me, I said, I want to do it. All the fear came later. So I was like, I want to do it. I'm going to do it. How do I do it? Okay. What is required? I need to learn how to drive the truck. Okay. I'll get a learner's license. Okay. Step by step. Do what needs to be done. And then the rest your will take you through.
So again, I'll talk about the 3I here. 3 I's as in the letter from the alphabet. And that is that you always had the intent to go after something different, unique.
Yes.
And then you followed suit with the requisite initiative.
Yes.
And then you did your best to be able to interact and get the best out of that situation.
Well, nicely put. Yes. Yes. Intent and initiative is always there. I'd loved even now. I mean, I don't think it's ever too late to try something new or to experience a new, a new profession or a new, way of doing things. So, intent will always be there to try something new. I thrive trying new things. I think some part of us sort of dies if we don't keep ourselves, wanting to learn, wanting to try something new, because that's how we change and that's how we adapt and that's how we move with the times as well.
And also that you're ready for any kind of discomfort which comes with it, because change management.
Anything, this is again an oft used cliche that, when you come out of your comfort zone, that's where growth lies. And that's the truth. You come out of your comfort zone, try something new. It's not going to be easy. And there are going to be a few failures along the way. And there's going to be things that don't go the way you wanted them to go. I mean, you in ideal situation, everything will go like a breeze and you're suddenly a success, but that doesn't happen. There's a lot of this that gets to success. There's a lot of this. Yeah. The crests and troughs, the ups and downs. So you have to go through all that and you have to just persevere and hang in there.
So that's quite amazing and that's what has been written all over your career as well, that you've always moved on to something new and different.
Hanging in there, happy to try something new.
You've moved on from iconic acting roles to sports presenting in a male-dominated field. What personality traits did you lean on or develop for these pivots?
Cricket was actually career changing for me. It was up until then I'd done only daily soaps and fiction. And honestly, I'd reached a stage, I'd done Shanti, I'd done another show called Aurat, and I'd done a negative role in a show called Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi. And honestly, I'd reached a stage where I was feeling it's like punching a card. You're going to the factory every day and you're punching a card. And with daily soaps, you're working 12, 15 days a month. And it's pretty much like a 9-to-5 job, and some sort of monotony sets in. And I'd reached a stage where I was like, I do need to try. So I'm feeling stagnated here. I'm feeling stagnant. Maybe I need to take a I need to take a sabbatical. I need to take some time off. And it's like some prayers were answered. God heard me. And I was so Shanti was a very, very popular show in Sri Lanka. India was playing Sri Lanka. First it was playing South Africa in the semi-finals, and then it played Sri Lanka in the finals of a tournament called the Champions Trophy. I had been to Sri Lanka many, many times because of Shanti and promoting Shanti and one or two other things I did in Sri Lanka. So I had a lot of friends in Sri Lanka, and I used to like cricket. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to go to Sri Lanka and figure out my stadium tickets there, but I want to go and watch cricket. And that's how the cricket actually happened, because I was seen over there in Sri Lanka in the midst of the Champions Trophy, here, there and everywhere. And the broadcasting partner was Sony, and they said, how come you're here? And I said, I've come to watch the cricket. And they said, with your own money? And I was like, yes, with my own money. Because at that time they were flying celebrities in to watch the cricket. And I think just from that point onwards, they had me at the back of their mind as somebody who likes cricket, somebody who enjoys cricket. And so then a couple of months later, when they were looking for a host for the 2003 World Cup, they called me in. Now, they called me in and asked me questions on cricket, asked me if I'd like to host the 2003 World Cup. And I said, yes, of course. That's my first reaction. It's always my first reaction if it's something I want to do. All the rest of it, there was a lot that came after. Because one is this, would you like to? I said, yes. Then they said, okay, we'd like to screen test you. And we're screen testing about 1,000 other women.
Wow.
So I went through one screen test. I went through a second screen test. I went through a third screen test, a little bit like Shanti. And at the end of the third screen test, they said, I think you have what it takes to be a co-anchor on our panel, which will be our studio panel. And, it's one thing that you can prepare, you can do your best. It's, you're in a simulated situation. It's another thing when you're actually sitting on a panel and you have legends, great people who you've grown up watching, playing cricket, left and right. And there's a camera in front of you and the red light goes on. And the moment the red light goes on, the words you're speaking are going to be telecast to about 1 billion people.
Not millions, but billions.
Yeah, it's a different thing altogether. So how much ever you prepare for that moment, you're not prepared for that moment. So I have a lot of resilience. That is one thing that I can say I have. I have that power to hang in there. So the beginning was disastrous because I had a lot of baggage in my head saying, this is cricket. This is the most watched, this beats the news. It beats anything. It is the highest rated content on Indian television, and words once spoken live cannot be taken back. So I had a lot of nervousness in me, a lot of nervous energy, and I messed up a few times. And at the end of every show, I'd put my head down, I'd cry, I'd be quite distraught at all of it. But it's wraparound programming, right? So before the match, middle of the match, and post. So 3 times a day we'd be on air, and at the end of every one, I'd put my head down, I'd cry and be very miserable. And then eventually, they had a little bit of an intervention saying, something, you have what it takes. There's something that's holding you back. Just go have fun. You're not an expert. You're not an analyst. You're not a commentator. There's Charu Sharma, who's your host, and you're the co-host. You ask whatever is on your mind. Nothing is off the table. Just go have fun. And honestly, they say heaven and hell is a switch in your head. It literally is. You can choose to be really unhappy. You can choose to say, you know what? Look at me. I'm so lucky. I'm so privileged to be doing this. I am in a place where there'd be hundreds of thousands of other people who want to be. I'm going to milk this. I'm going to enjoy this to the hilt. I'm going to have such a good time doing it. They've just told me nothing's off the table. Go have fun. Make this boring panel fun. Honestly, it was that post that intervention with tear-streaked face, I went back on air and I was like, okay. And I smiled through it all. And that was half the job done. I smiled, I asked cheeky questions. I made people laugh, and it was just, everything changed after that. And it was a long enough tournament. So the first week was a disaster. It was a long enough tournament for me to change a few people's minds. So all the press that was coming negative about how dumb she is and how not one word that she speaks is sensible or, crickety or purist, to, oh, what a delight it is to have her on the panel. She makes the panel more fun. And a lot of people's minds got changed over that period of a few weeks.
I think that was a trend which you said, that you made cricket commenting much more fun and relatable.
That was the idea. The idea was to get me. I was a familiar face on television for all the daily soaps I'd done and the TV shows I'd done. So it's to get the wife of the family and the children of the family who've seen me on television to come also and watch this programming, which was ordinarily just with men in suits. And now here's this lady who comes along and she's also having fun and she's also asking questions, which perhaps the people sitting at home have.
So I think this was one of the pioneering moments when a lady commentator was hired for the first time.
Ever since then, there's a place for a woman in cricket presentation. Ever since. So I feel very happy that I was the first and I was able to do something like this, and it kind of changed telecast. It changed cricket telecast.
So you're the trendsetter. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's like actually quite inspirational story, because not easy.
It's not easy.
You got the opportunity.
It's not easy. I tell you something, when you're the first to do something, people nitpick and they look at you with a magnifying glass, and they will, because you're the first person, they've never seen a situation like this before. So they are going to be like, what on earth is she doing? She doesn't belong here. She's never played cricket. Now, there are so many girls who come and go and nobody puts a magnifying glass to them. All the brickbats I got, I faced, I handled. Now it's easier for all the girls who've come.
First times are always difficult.
Yes.
But that's really well done. It's quite inspirational for all the people out there, because there's always a first time for something.
Yes, somebody's got to be the first. Yeah. And when you are the first, you know what? It might be hard, but you'll always be remembered.
And also we can safely put this statement here, that success does not happen by chance, but it happens by taking chances. As you have taken all the chances. That's right. That's
beautiful. It doesn't happen by chance. I should use that line. I love it. It doesn't happen by chance, but it happens by taking chances and by persevering.
Yes, please.
Hanging in there. Hanging in there is the big one also, because if things don't work out the way you want them to, it's easier to actually give up. It's easier to fold and say, this is just not for me. It's harder to just keep plodding your way through till things get better, till you see light at the end of the tunnel.
So the message here for the audience is that challenges, turmoils, obstacles, the struggle of life is forever on.
Yes.
All you need to do is hang in there, persevere, be resilient about who you want to become and not what you are at that present point in time.
Yes.
And you will one day see the end of the light.
I was listening to Foul and Wisdom, and there's one thing that stayed with me, which is very beautiful. The obstacle is the path. Wow. You see? The obstacle is the path. So if there is an obstacle in front of you, there's so much on the other side of it. If you take the easy road, there's no growth.
But this is what I've seen, that most of the people, they stick to their comfort zone. They don't want to break their comfort barriers and step into this discomfort. They know growth happens outside the comfort zone, but still they get so much this feel of security within the comfort zone that they're not able to break their own shackles by themselves.
Then you will stay where you are. There'll be be it professionally, be it personally, be it physically. So when you're working out, if you don't push yourself, if you're holding a 5-pound weight and you can do bicep curls with a 5-pound weight and you continue doing it for the rest of your life, your body's going to stop responding at some point. if you raise it to 10 pounds or you increase the number of reps, it'll be harder for you, but you're coming out of your comfort zone and your body will respond to it. Even personally, as you are living your life, you continue to behave a certain way and be a certain, we have to move with the time. The times are moving so fast around us. We have to move with the times. We have to be aware. We need to see what's happening around us. We have to, even if it's difficult for us, we've got to take that step and try something new and do things that you've not done before because the environment demands it of you. And if you don't do it, personally, there'll be no growth. Professionally, there'll be no growth. To grow, to be a better version of yourself, you have to come out of your comfort zones. Are not, it's nice, for a little while. Okay, you know what? I've gotten to this place. I enjoy this place. This is my comfort. In certain aspects, a comfort zone is nice up to a point. And then it gets you too comfortable. And then there's no movement.
Stagnate there.
Yeah, you
stagnate. Then you say, why am I not growing? And then you, in fact, start to think that somebody else is responsible for my growth and not me.
Yes.
So I think that's
we have to hold responsibility for everything. We are responsible. We are responsible for our behavior, our actions. If things happen and situations happen, I tell this to my son as well, that, I am not responsible for the situation always. There's certain situations you are responsible for if things don't go right and you've done something wrong. But I'm just saying, if a situation happens which feels unfair and feels that it's, the world is against you, you're not responsible for the situation. You are responsible for your response to that situation. That's all responsible. You're responsible for how you respond to that situation.
So exactly what is said, that life is not what happens to you, but how you respond to what happens to you.
It is. I mean, life very often gives you lemons, and you have to learn to make lemonade. You're not always going to get lemonade. You're not always going to get, a bed of roses in front of you. Life is hard. And you know what? The people who go through harder lives, they have more to learn. I think there's a plan. Everybody's come down with a plan. And this is what they have to go through. And this is what they have to learn in this lifetime. This is very spiritual, I know. But I believe a lot in destiny, and I believe we all are confronted with things that we have to grow from, that we have to learn from. The obstacles that come along our way are up.
I personally will disagree on this for my perspective. Okay. I hope I have a perspective.
Please, you're most welcome. Share with me.
I would say that it's the defining choices and the decisions which you take that defines your destiny. And if you are ready to go up to the mantle, you see opportunities exist, but you should be ready, skills ready, ability ready to be able to go and step onto that mantle. So that's what it is.
Here's the thing. So my counter to that would be that yes, that you have to have the skills but it's your destiny, I believe, to be that person who's going to rise to the occasion every time. So you came to this lifetime of yours. Please, pardon me you might think it's mumbo jumbo, but this is how I think, this is how I think. You came to this lifetime to be a leader, a teacher, and someone who teaches people and instills confidence in them. That was your destiny. Okay? And the opportunities that came your way that got you to this place, that's destiny. And you rose to the occasion because that was your destiny.
I still will say decisions and choices.
Yes, we are about the job and the choices you make. My point is this, the choices you make as well. You making this go, you're on a crossroad. You have two roads in front of you. You taking this choice. Yes, you can say it's free will. Yes, you took this choice, but it was in your soul's path to be on this road.
So in the bigger picture.
So you would like to believe that it was your choice. Yes, it was your choice. It was your choice. You could have gone down that road, but you chose this road because it was you were destined to be on this path.
So very well put. And in fact, I'll add to this, if I may, that is that a bigger destiny awaits you, provided you're ready to take that choice and make that decision. Yes. And it will come with itself with a lot of hardships.
Your life is how big you want to make it. And if in this lifetime, you're supposed to be just this much or learn just this much, then that was what the plan for you for this lifetime was. And there's always the next lifetime to come back to learn more.
Wonderful. All right. So, Mandira, with all those accomplishments and pioneering such amazing efforts which you have gone through in your life, what is next for Mandira Bedi?
I love that my week does not have monotony anymore. Remember, I told you when it came to all the daily soaps, we like punching a card. But right now, I look at my, a week in my life. One day is not like any other. Today, I'm having this beautiful conversation with you, Sanjeev. Day after tomorrow, I'm being invited by a corporate to give a motivational talk on physical and mental health. The day after that, I've got an interview with a news channel on mental health. Because I'm I'm a part of, I've co-founded a mental wellness space. So then, 2 days after that, I am doing something for a green tea brand. So there's not one day that's like the other. I am in the process of developing a short film because I feel the only thing I miss a little bit is the acting. At one point, I couldn't do it day in and day out, and now I miss it because I'm doing all sorts of other things. My week has 4 or 5 different days of completely different stuff going on. And my month will have a variety of, and one day I could be going to host an event for a corporate. One day I could be I do theater as well, doing my play in another city or in Bombay or wherever. So I love that there's absolutely no monotony. There's not one day that's like the other. And I think because I love my work so much, that's what drives me. That's what keeps me going. I'm going to be doing a health related podcast as well soon because physical and mental health is really something that I feel very passionate about. So there's lovely things lined up.
So nothing rudimentary and boring. Everything is a new day.
Everything is a new day.
New feats to complete.
Even with, I must tell you, you got to find joy in even the nice things, in the mundane things. There are times when I'm hosting something for a corporate, and I'll never forget this. One particular period I was going through, I decided I'm going to give up anger for 1 month. For 1 month, I'm not going to be angry ever for anything.
That's not possible.
I did.
Wow.
Okay. So that particular month, I'll never forget. I was invited to host an event for a tire company. And it was the first time I was hosting an event for this company in Bhuj. And, they have a lot of most of their clientele and most of their, the dealers that buy from them are in Europe. So a whole bunch of, people travel from all over the world who were in the audience. I was standing on a huge tire. Okay. It was like one of those truck tires or massive one. And I was in Bhuj. Imagine how hot it is. I had sweat trickling down my neck over here and down my leg. I was wearing a sari, green colored sari. I'll never forget. And I was, and I said to myself, who gets a chance to stand on a tire and host a show for a tire company? Who gets a chance to do things like this? I mean, wow, lucky me. And I was in that space of, I'm not getting angry for anything. And I stood over there and I talked to her and said, on your left, you will see the tire going around on this asphalt track, and it's looking, and it's whatever I had to, speak about. I spoke about it with great enthusiasm and joy. And I said, I just said this, who gets a chance to do things like this? Who gets an opportunity to do something like this? And at the end of that event, when we were flying back, I met the owner of the company, and he came up to me and said, something, we do a lot of events and we've never had anybody speak about our tires with so much joy and enthusiasm. And that was about maybe 5-7 years ago. After that, I've gone to Milan with them twice. I've gone to Australia. I've gone to Greece. I've done possibly 25 events for them after that. And it was all because I decided I'm going to just be so joyful about hosting an event on tires, standing on a tire, because it's an opportunity not many people get. And I mean, you find joy in the small things. You find joy in the mundane things as well. And you can find joy in everything you do. If you just say, wow, you look at the opportunity for what it is and say, it's so different. It's so amazing. I take nothing for granted. I take every morning when I wake up, I say, thank you, God. I take nothing for granted. I don't take for granted that I wake up this morning. I don't take for granted that I have a roof over my head and food on my table and healthy children. I take nothing for granted. So even this morning it wasn't around 12 noon when I left home. As I'm getting into the car, I said, I take nothing for granted. Thank you, God, for this amazing conversation I'm going to go and have with Sanjeev. So I take nothing for granted. And when you take nothing for granted, there's joy in everything. And you can find joy in everything. You can find something good in everything, positivity in everything.
So that's quite amazing. In fact, I was thinking when you were speaking, and that effort combined with the sweat and the enthusiasm is equal to success.
I love all your equations. They're very nice. Yes. This plus this plus this equals success.
Yes.
You're right.
And also that, there are always going to be two-sided...
I would add to it.
Yes, please.
Plus gratitude.
Absolutely.
Whenever there's gratitude, something that is your key to positivity. That is your key to being in a good, positive state of mind at all times.
In fact, I was with my students, the working professional students, and there were about 500 of them I do a batch with every week. And so I asked them, I'll give you 60 seconds to point out 5 negatives going on in your today's life, the life you live today. What all negatives did you go through? Give me 5 of them, and you have 60 seconds.
Right.
And of those 500 people, 460 something, within 60 seconds, they send me the 5 negatives which they have faced today. And the next question was, send me 3 positives which you have gone through today, those 3 positive moments, which either you created or you've gone through by yourselves. Send that to me in 60 seconds. And you know what? Only 100 something plus people could send those 3 positive moments in that 60 seconds. And that means to say that paying heed to the positive side of the situation, circumstance.
People don't even know how to be grateful. They don't know. When you say be grateful, what is there to be grateful for? What is there? There's nothing. People, our mindsets have shifted that we only look for the negatives. We only look for, or we only see the negatives. And the positives are something we have to search for, look for, and we don't acknowledge. So it's very important to actually, just say, the moment you start focusing on the positives, focusing on what is, suddenly all that you have is enough. All that you have is more than enough. So we have to make that shift in mindset. I think that's very important.
So with that shift in mindset, let's talk about mental health and how is it affecting the young and the youth, and also people in about 40, 45 years mid-age till their senior age.
I think it's not, there's no particular age group as far as when you look at mental health. It starts with teenagers who, get sad and depressed because of loneliness, sad and depressed because of, the pressure of studying. Mental health is something that, unfortunately is not talked about enough. There are not enough conversations that are happening, and, there are not enough people I have gone to a psychiatrist when I was, first time I went was about 25 years ago. And at that time, the one psychiatrist number I had, she's a psychologist, was on my phone because I interviewed her for a show I did called Aapki Shanti. So that's how I knew this one psychologist, and something was feeling amiss in my life and I wanted to speak to her. I wanted to speak to somebody. And I remember telling my mom, I said, Mom, I went and met a therapist. Why? Why do you meet a therapist? I said, because I was not feeling good about it. But you can talk to me. You can talk to your friends. And I'm like, no, I wanted to speak to somebody who can show me a perspective, someone who's equipped to help me, someone who can, show me a mirror, because sometimes we get so consumed by our problems that somebody on the outside shows you a perspective and you can look at things a little bit differently, So that was the first time. And now things have changed. Movement in the right direction is happening. That now if somebody asks me for a therapist number, I say, what kind would you want? Spiritual therapist, hypnotherapist, psychologist, psychiatrist. I can give you. I've got a bunch of numbers.
You missed out on the coach.
Life coach.
Yes.
Correct. So there's, what do you want? What are you looking for? So there are now options. But, with mental health, there's this. If you're feeling upset about something and you need a day to process it, like there are things that happen to me and I feel very upset about it. I don't want to let go of it in a minute and snap out of it, because there's some damage to be done with that also when you don't even think about it. Say, okay, you know what? I'm going to push it aside. Sometimes you need a little time to process it. You process it and then you put it away and say, after this, I don't want to talk about it. It's not going to affect my mood. It's not going to affect the way I'm feeling or the way I'm conducting myself. But if there's something that you try to process and it doesn't go away, and you try again, it doesn't go away, and you're still feeling a little unhappy, where things are feeling a little awry, where things are not feeling right, and it's gone on for a few days, then you must address it. You must reach out to somebody who can help you. And the problem is, when we become our thoughts, we just get consumed by our thoughts. That we can't see anything outside of that lens. That's where a professional can help you and just pull you out. You just need a little distance from that problem and know that problem isn't you. That problem is an issue you're facing. And if you can keep it on a little bit of, keep a little distance from it, you can conduct yourself, and I think a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a therapist, a life coach can show you, they can give you that little bit of distance, can make you see things a little bit from the outside. So, mental health is of prime importance. Mental health is, over the years, when I found there are things I'm not able to process and deal with myself, I reach out, I get a perspective. I try and reprocess it again, because the work you have to do. The work has to be done yourself. Nobody can do it for you. Someone can show you the perspective. Someone can show you the path. Someone can show you the way. But the path itself has to be walked on by you. So then you do the work, and then and then you can, the only way, be it grief, be it sadness, be it depression, the only way out is when you process. The only way out is through. There are no shortcuts.
Yes.
So you've got to find the right balance between, snap out of it, and actually hanging on to it for a really long period of time. Even snap out of it means you've not processed it and you're pushing it aside and blocked it out of your mind, don't want to talk about it. But the other part of it is processing it and then say, you know what, I don't want to let go of my anger and I don't want to let go of my negativity. You don't want to do that either. You've got to find the right balance between the actual processing of it and, snapping out of it.
So here, what is it that you feel that is it taboo to be able to go to a counselor and a psychiatrist?
Taboo, not anymore. I've never come. I've talked about it very openly. I've gone to every kind of therapist. I've gone to a psychologist. I've never gone. The psychiatrists are the ones who administer medicine,
yes,
right?
Please.
I've never gone to a psychiatrist. I've gone to a psychologist, and I've gone to a hypnotherapist, and I've gone to a spiritual therapist. And whenever things are a little bit off and I'm not feeling right, I go and address it with somebody. And if I need 1 session or 2 sessions or how many ever sessions I need, I go through it. Hypnotherapy is what helped me with I used to have anger issues. I don't have them anymore, but hypnotherapy is what got me through my anger issues and my addiction to sweet.
Wow.
Yes, I have I had an addiction to sugar. I used to love, chocolate and desserts, and I couldn't stop. And I had killed 2 birds with 1 stone, and I did hypnotherapy for both, and that's what sorted me out. And so back in the day, it was taboo. Now, because people say anyone who goes to a therapist is crazy or mad or off or, but it's not that. Everyone has mental health issues, mental health problems in their lives. And sometimes they just need somebody to show them a mirror or a perspective. So even if there is still any taboo associated with it, there shouldn't be. There shouldn't be. We've come a long way from, say, 20 years ago, from when my mom said, so 20 years ago when my mom said, why did you go to therapist? You could speak to me. About 2-3 years ago, she says, Mom, Mandu, she calls me Mandu. She said, Mandu, so-and-so auntie, she's a caregiver. Her husband was not well and she's very, she's tired and it was draining her. And she says, do you know any psychologists or psychiatrists or counselors that can help auntie? And I'm like, life has come a long way. She's asking me now for a counselor's number. And, all of us at different stages in our lives could need a counselor, could need help. And, you can take it from a friend also. It's very important, it's better to air it out with somebody. Be it a friend. But it's, I think, better to air it out with somebody you don't know, because that person will give you an unbiased, non-judgmental view of things.
Absolutely. Yes.
And that person is equipped to help. So it's less taboo than it used to be, but it shouldn't be taboo at all. It's like you go to a doctor when your knee is hurting. You go to a doctor when you have a cough or a cold. It's like that. Our brain is also a very, it's a vital organ that is, our minds are subject to many things that happen to us. Our lives can be very stressful. And if there's somebody who can help you relieve that stress, then why not?
Also, in today's world, everybody is going for that aesthetic fitness, as we can call it, to lose that excess weight. My dear friends, what about the weight in your head?
Correct.
And that's
right.
One weight you got to lose.
Absolutely.
To be able to lead your life and not be led by life.
Because, we have lives, our lives have become over the years even more stressful. I mean, we are caught up with our devices and smartphones and worrying about our kids and how they're going to turn out and how to control their devices. And life is moving at such an amazingly fast pace that sometimes you need to slow down. You need to, if you can self-regulate, great. If you can't, take the help.
Also, you've gone through grief, you faced it,
yes,
you challenged it, and if you could give out some valuable tips, because everyone, in fact, when I was going through your story and I read that in the newspaper, which comes to us as well, they were celebrating of your strength, of the way you've handled grief and how now it is serving as a pillar of strength to others, because everybody goes through grief.
Yes.
And like, I also have this thought perspective that my parents are old, but I don't want to lose them. But one fine day I will have to.
Yes.
Or,
Yes.
So how do you handle
your like grief? I said a little while ago, with anything that is, with what we have to face in life. And I mean, there's one thing that we are 100% sure of, is that we're all going to die one day, right? That is something that you can't argue. It's how we live our lives and what we do with it. That's important. But one thing for sure is the end game is that we all will at some point pass away. So with our parents, it's about with my parents too. I think about it a lot and say, the time we have with our parents is less and less as time goes by. When I lost my husband, it was 4 years ago, and it was like, it's like the tectonic plates of the ground below you have shifted. It's your life changes completely. And the one part of it can be that, what? Move on. Let's get on with life. But again, like I said, with anything connected to mental health, you can't just move on. You have to, especially with grief, the only way to get to the other side is through. You have to feel everything. You have to go through every emotion. You have to experience everything. And the first of everything in that first year after he passed was very hard. The first Diwali, the first birthday, the first anniversary, the first Christmas, the first New Year. And it's really hard, and it's not like it gets easier. The absence and the void is still felt, but you get stronger. You get stronger and are able to deal with it. But as far as grief is concerned, I needed counseling. I was not feeling like I could handle this on my own. I reached out to the people I know, counselors that I know, and I got through it with help, and I got through it over a period of time. It took me more than a year to feel myself and pick up life like I've known it. And then after that, after I went through that year, I said, now I have 2 very young children who need a strong, positive influence in their lives, a strong, positive parent. And so now I have to pick up and give them the best possible life that I can give them. And that's it. And then the thing is, we can get caught up in it and fold. Even after this, we can sink or swim. Sink or swim. If you sink, then you're taking 2 other people with you. If you swim and stay afloat, there are other people who are part of your journey, who are dependent on you, who need you, who will benefit from you being strong and positive, and whose lives will be positively impacted if you are positive.
With that, I'll definitely say you're a true pillar of strength. And coming back from such a tragedy, such an incident of life is not easy. I can only think about it.
And I also don't think too far ahead.
To anyone watching this, if you're in a tough phase, if you're rebuilding, or just trying to hold it all together, I hope this episode reminds you you're not alone. You're not done. Thank you, Mandira. It's been a pleasure having this lovely conversation with you. And thank you all.